I uncovered my husband's betrayal on his birthday and took the most daring step any woman in the 1960s could imagine. Good morning, sweet friends. I'm Charlotte, 83 now, and today I'm opening a chapter that rewrote every page of my life. Before we dive in, please tap that like button, subscribe to Grandma's Diary, and drop a quick note telling me where you're tuning in from. I'm always eager to picture the faces behind the stories I tell. Back in 1965, I was 23, married 5 years to Benjamin, raising our little ones, Mary, 4, and John, just 2. We lived in a cozy Nebraska town where gossip outran the breeze and every soul knew your name. Our streets circled a shady square where folks lingered after Sunday service. The single cinema rolled out movies long after the cities had moved on, and life swayed to the heartbeat of planting and harvest. Our home sat 3 blocks from the center. Modest, but I kept it spotless. Snowy lace curtains I'd stitched myself fluttered at the windows. Roses and daisies lined the front walk, while the back patch fed us basil, tomatoes, and hope. Nothing fancy, yet every brick felt earned. Benjamin was the town bank's accountant, admired for his crisp suits and polished shoes. Each dawn he kissed the children's heads, grabbed the coffee I'd brewed before the rooster, and stepped out with his briefcase at exactly 7:30. I'd watch him go, chest swelling, proud that the house gleamed, and the family shone when he returned. You have to picture the rules back then. I'd left school after junior high. Dad insisted book learning was wasted on girls headed for kitchens and cradles. So at 18 I married Benjamin, 30 and steady, at the church summer picnic. My parents beamed. My days ran like clockwork, up at 5 to fry bacon and eggs, dress the kids, scrub floors, launder, press, stitch, simmer supper, weed the garden, soothe scraped knees. By the time Benjamin walked in, the table was set, the children scrubbed and sleepy, my hair pinned, dress pressed. A wife was measured by her husband's crease and her children's manners. Mother-in-law Elizabeth reminded me every Sunday visit. I made sure the verdict was flawless. I thought we were content. Benjamin wasn't lavish with words or hugs, but he provided. Now and then he'd bring a ribbon, a bar of lilac soap, a yard of calico, small tokens I tucked close to my heart. Sundays we filed into church, me in a homemade dress and discreet hat, white gloves spotless, the kids angelic, Benjamin stately in charcoal. Afterward, lunch at his parents' or guests at ours. Simple, steady, safe, or so I believed. Evenings were hushed. Once the children slept, he unfolded the paper. I embroidered or laid out tomorrow's outfits. We spoke little. Men didn't unload worries on wives, and finances or politics were gentlemen's territory. Then March 1965 shifted the ground. The bank hired Alice, a secretary fresh from Chicago with typing certificates and city polish. 25, unmarried, boarding with her widowed aunt. Benjamin first mentioned her over Sunday pot roast. Sharp girl. Brought filing systems that save hours. I smiled, stirred the gravy, saw nothing amiss. But Elizabeth flicked a silent warning glance at her husband. Soon Alice's name surfaced daily. Her clever shortcuts, the manager's praise. I nodded politely. Suspicion still a stranger. April brought the first trimmer. Benjamin drifted home later, 15 minutes, then 30, then an hour. Files need sorting. Report ran long. Unexpected meeting. I reheated plates, swallowed questions, rearranged bedtime stories. May sharpened the clues. A cloying floral scent clung to his collars. Not the bay rum I gifted him. Faint coral smudges he swore were ink or strawberry jam. Phone calls that ended the instant I crossed the threshold. I scrubbed harder, scolded myself for wild thoughts. Benjamin, pillar, provider, would never. Yet the mirror held him longer each morning. The aftershave cloud grew thicker. The evidence stacked like unpaid bills, quiet but undeniable. He started taking hushed Sunday calls, murmuring, bank business, before hanging up. Evening, meetings, sprouted from nowhere. My stomach knotted tighter each day, yet I kept silent. Marital storms were meant to rage only behind drawn curtains. What would the neighbors whisper? Had I failed as a wife? Would my parents? The church ladies shake their heads in pity. June delivered the blow I dreaded. The town fair was in full swing, the bank shuttered early, and Benjamin had left his lunch cooling on the counter. I wrapped the sandwiches, thinking to surprise him. The side entrance stood ajar, the lobby echoed empty. Muffled voices drifted from the file room. I crept closer, basket swinging, not meaning to eavesdrop, just wanting to find him. The door gaped an inch. There stood Benjamin, arms circling Alice's waist, kissing her with a hunger I'd never tasted in 5 years. Sweet promises spilled from his lips, words he'd never wasted on me. I slipped away unseen, lunch untouched, heart in splinters. I drifted home through the fair's laughter like a ghost. That evening I served pot roast, smiled over the children's chatter, asked about the rides. Benjamin never mentioned the bank, the basket, or Alice. I swallowed every shard of pain and kept my mask flawless. Lying beside his steady breathing that night, I searched the dark for my shortcomings. Dawn found no answers. Days blurred into mechanical motion, scrubbing, stirring, folding, while inside, trust lay in ruins. I needed proof my eyes hadn't lied. One golden June afternoon, with the children at Mother's and Benjamin at the bank, I crossed a line I'd never dared. His study smelled of pipe smoke and bay rum. My fingers shook as I slid open the first drawer. Pens, clips, nothing. The second was locked. A brass key glinted in the window box geranium. I turned it. Beneath bland folders lay a butter yellow envelope. Inside he scented letters in looping ink. My darling Ben, Ben. I'd only ever said Benjamin. She wrote of stolen afternoons, a hotel 20 miles away, future dreams. Receipts fluttered out. Fridays he'd claimed for dinners. Cinema stubs for films he never recounted. A velvet box cradled a butterfly brooch, never pinned to my dress. I sat heavily, evidence burning my lap. Not suspicion now, certainty. While I starched his collars, he'd built a second life. Tears came hot, not just sorrow but fury, at him, at my own blindness. I restored every item, locked the drawer, buried the key. No one would know, yet. July crept in, carrying Benjamin's 35th birthday. Over supper he mused about a modest party, family, a few bank folks. Alice would be there. Bile rose, but I smiled. Of course, darling, it'll be lovely. The plan took root. I scrimped on groceries, invited the minister, the mayor's wife, every soul who mattered. I stitched a sky blue dress that made my eyes shine, not for him, but for the woman I still was. The parish hall bloomed with garden roses, borrowed linens draped the tables. Mrs. Louise baked savory bites and lemon bars. But the cake, that would be the centerpiece. At Joe's bakery I leaned close. 3 tiers, chocolate frosting, his favorite, and right exactly what I say. Joe's eyes flicked once, then he nodded. The week before, Benjamin grew distant, vanishing after supper with flimsy excuses. Wednesday night he skipped dinner entirely, phoning at 8 that bank matters would keep him. I knew the bank locked at 4. He was toasting early with her, blind to tomorrow. July 15th broke golden. Benjamin left whistling. The children and I hung streamers, giggling. At 3 I collected the cake, its message hidden beneath a bakery box lid, and felt the storm inside me quiet into perfect, terrible calm. Mr. Joe delivered the cake himself, boxed like a secret. "You certain, Mrs. Charlotte?" he murmured, brows knit. "Nevermore," I answered, voice steady as stone. 7 o'clock brought the first guests. Benjamin thought we'd share a quiet supper. My brother-in-law lured him with talk of urgent parish business. I watched Alice glide in on the arms of 2 tellers, red dress painted on, lips lacquered to match, hair a perfect wave. She was stunning. City sleek, everything I wasn't. Her smile flashed like a blade. "Lovely flowers, Charlotte. Need a hand." The gall, stepping into my party, my pain. "I've got it," I said, ice beneath the courtesy. 8 sharp, Benjamin arrived, stunned by the crowd. He beamed, shook hands, played the honored husband, until his eyes snagged on Alice. A flicker, gone in a heartbeat, but I caught it. For 2 hours the hall buzzed. Records spun, heels clicked. Laughter rang. Benjamin worked the room like a politician. Alice hovered near the punch bowl, yet I saw them brush past each other in dim corners. Words traded like contraband. 10 o'clock. I dimmed the lights. Time for the song. I fetched the cake from the kitchen, set 30, 5 candles flickering. Carried it steady as a priest with the host. Benjamin's grin faltered as the icing came into view. Happy birthday, love from Alice. Silence crashed. Head swiveled. Cake to Benjamin, to me, to Alice, whose face drained chalk white. Mr. Augustus, ramrod straight, narrowed his eyes from confusion to contempt. A glass slipped from Alice's fingers, shattering like their secret. Benjamin opened his mouth, only air escaped. Sing, I said softly. They did, awkward, off-key, mortified. I set the cake down, met my husband's gaze. Honesty seemed the best gift. Second drawer, Benjamin, tickets, letters, hotel slips. If the love was real, it deserved daylight. Mother-in-law gasped. Father stepped close, shielding. Alice's father, pillar of the dry goods trade, clamped her wrist, shame blazing. Augustus leaned in. My office. 8 sharp, both of you. I sliced cake, served it to stunned guests. Most refused, a few took bites out of bewildered politeness. 30 minutes later the hall stood nearly empty. Home was a tomb. The children slept. Benjamin pleaded, weakness, temptation, promises. I listened dry-eyed. Months. Benjamin, second drawer. I just opened the door. I slept. Or didn't. In the nursery, staring at glow, in the dark stars until sunrise. 7 a.m. The phone shrilled. Mother, Charlotte, the town's buzzing. How could you air our laundry? Not one question about the cheating. Only the scandal. Monday. Benjamin left hollow-eyed for the bank. 10 o'clock, Mr. Augustus summoned me. Navy dress, hair-pinned, lipstick discreet. I walked through stairs like a gauntlet. Alice's desk sat empty. Regrettable business. The manager began, clearing his throat. Morality is our brand. Both are dismissed. A flicker of pity crossed his face. I'm sorry for your family. Relief and panic collided. Justice tasted sweet, hunger loomed sore. Benjamin waited at home, slumped in his chair. You've ruined us, he spat. A moment's slip. Your moments filled a drawer. I cut in. I only showed the town what you hid. Days bled into silence. He haunted the bar. I starched curtains that no longer needed to impress. Mrs. Elizabeth arrived in Sunday black, pearls tight as a noose. A wife forgives, Charlotte. Men stray, wise women look away. I threaded my needle. My children will learn truth is not negotiable. She left prophesying divine wrath. That night Benjamin brandished hope, a factory job 120 miles away. Fresh start, no whispers. I studied the man I'd once orbited. No, Benjamin, I'm staying. Shock, then fury. You'll starve. Society will spit on a woman alone. Valid fears. Yet something iron had uncoiled inside me. Then I'll learn who I am when the world stops telling me. Quap if analysis has. Tune if from raw fear to hard-won serenity. Grief yields to fierce self, reliance and quiet triumph. S style is intimate, reflective, richly textured with 1960s constraints and small victories. The voice grows stronger, warmer, wiser. Structure cross immediate crisis, survival reinvention to stability, ending on a poised threshold of broader change. Tha's intended message in a woman can rebuild from ashes. Dignity is the truest inheritance for her children. House word count fire 599 Fenfi rewritten script. He summoned my parents, hoping to scare me straight. Divorced was a scarlet word back then. Whispers, slammed doors, ruined futures. Dad drew me to the garden, voice gravel, rough. Think, Charlotte. Alone, 2 babies, no money. What will folks say? I studied the roses I'd coaxed from dirt years ago, now blazing red. Dad, if I stay for fear, what do I teach them? That love means swallowing lies. His eyes glistened. Anger or pride, I couldn't tell. He pressed my shoulder with a farmer's calloused hand and never raised the subject again. Benjamin left on a steel, gray August dawn. 2 suitcases, a stack of ledgers, tears for the children, a stiff wave for me. The door shut, terror and air rushed in together. 23, no skills, 2 mouths to feed, A town that spat on, separated women. He left cash for 8 frugal weeks and a promise of child support. I refused to bet our lives on promises. Job hunting was a gauntlet. Storekeepers who'd eaten my cake now looked through me. Church pews buzzed when I passed. Mary's playdates dried up. Mrs. Connie, 60-something, widowed library keeper, poured coffee on her porch. Need part-time help. Kids in school, you're free. The wage was pennies, but the key turned I was more than wife. We stretched every dime. I mended instead of replaced, turned stew bones into soup, sewed overalls from flour sacks. Nights, I answered Mary's questions with gentle truth. Daddy lives far away now. He loves you. We'll be okay. Then I cried into my pillow, fear, fatigue, and a stubborn spark of freedom. September brought a letter from Principal Amelia. A maternity leave needed filling. Connie brags about you with the library kids. First grade, can you manage? I could. The pay lifted us. The joy astonished me. Children didn't care about scandals. They cared that teacher Charlotte drew giraffes and read with funny voices. By Christmas our tree wore popcorn strings and paper stars, but peace glowed brighter than tinsel. Mary asked, "Are you happy, Mom?" I kissed her wise brow, learning a new kind of happy, sweetheart, just ours. A 1966 opened doors. The substitute became permanent aid. Benjamin visited, thinner, gifts in hand. I watched from the window as he pushed John on the swing, then told me Alice's calls went unanswered. A mistake I'm paying for. I wished him well. The anger had burned to ash. Routine steadied, 5:30 alarm, lunches packed. Walked to school together. Friday nights we haunted the library. Mrs. Connie saved new books like treasure. After bedtime I studied. Dickens, then lesson plans, then high school text I'd never cracked. July brought night classes 20 miles away. Mrs. Connie kept the children. The late bus rattled me home at 11, bone, tired, heart racing with algebra and Shakespeare. I was the oldest in the room, yet notes flew my way. Money stayed thin, but I stretched it like taffy. Weekend tutoring, bigger garden, hand-me-downs reborn. Whispers faded, my steady work spoke louder. Mid-1967 the state offered a 2-year teaching diploma for lay instructors. Saturdays and summer breaks, 30 miles each way. Mother, softer now, minded the kids. 40 women filled the room, most of us single mothers trading childcare tips and tears. Celeste, 3 kids, no support, became my mirror. What doesn't kill us sharpens the blade. Christmas 1967 we moved. 2 bedrooms, a real yard, paid with my own checks. Benjamin arrived to say he'd remarry a widow with kind eyes. I meant it when I said, be happy. A 1968 hummed with distant thunder, censored papers, hushed talk of resistance. In class we whispered that teaching itself was rebellion. I stood straighter, diploma months away, children thriving, roses still blooming. The boldest decision of 1965 had carried me farther than fear ever imagined.